Forgiving what you can't forget. Some things leave marks that will never fade. They leave pain that still lingers to this day, and memories that just replay over and over again. But we still have to forgive people who are not even sorry, not because they deserve it, but because we deserve it. And it's not necessarily about forgetting it, but in order to process things and move on, we have to come to terms with it. We have to accept that it happened and that there's nothing we can do to change the past, and that we deserve to heal, grow, and move on. So sometimes we have to forgive people in order to let that be the end of that chapter, the end of that trauma, the end of that aspect of our life, the end of that relationship. And even if it does still have effects on us traumatically, like I said, maybe we still have some of that trauma, we can at least start to compartmentalize it, understand it, and ultimately, hopefully, heal it fully and move on. And some of this pain and trauma and things that hurt us can be from people that are still in our lives, but we have to forgive them, and acknowledge that maybe they didn't try that. Maybe they were never fully healed, and they were that person that bled on others, that popular saying we hear. So with that being said, it's time to forgive your parents. Some of them were still learning how to be adults. Some of them were still learning how to be parents. Some of them didn't have parents in their lives that showed them the way. And ultimately, it's just a generational curse. And a lot of times they didn't try. They didn't try to be bad parents. They didn't try to cause you resentment, to cause you pain, to cause you hurt, or to not show you proper love and care. Deep down, they probably do care and love you so much, but they had so much unhealed trauma in their lives and were never able to forgive people that hurt them. Maybe their own parents, maybe their friends, maybe an ex relationship of theirs. So at this point, you have to forgive them too, and it might hurt you. You might still have resentment to your mom or to your dad or whoever, whether maybe they were not in your life, or maybe they were addicted to drugs or alcohol while they were in your life, or they did something to show you that they weren't always emotionally there, mentally there. Whatever the case may be, it sucks and it's unfortunate, but you have to still allow yourself to come to terms to forgive them so that you can heal and process your journey, so that when you have kids, you're not hurting them. You're not causing them the same trauma, the same pain, the same hurt, the same, scenarios that you endured, that you had to go through. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend that hurts you. Maybe they lied. Maybe they betrayed you. Maybe they didn't even do anything, totally bad in terms of like cheating, but maybe they just were never there to show that they truly were serious about, a commitment or something like that. You have to forgive them and understand that maybe they weren't ready. Maybe they had another previous relationship that hurt them, or their parents were never together and they got to see what a proper, healthy relationship looks like, So we never know what battles and journeys other people are going to. And there are people out there that are just sucky people and are evil, and you still have to move on from them. And then there's people that just didn't know better. They just didn't know how to properly, communicate, how to properly go through relationships, how to properly, do things the right way. And we can't truly judge them for that fully, even though it hurt us and caused us, pain and hurt, heartache, all these things. We have to, continue to just be like, man, it sucked, it didn't work out, but I have to heal for my next relationship, for my future family, for my kids, for my mental well-being, for your own health. You deserve it. You deserve to be able to have freedom from that pain, from that trauma, from those thoughts, from those memories. You deserve it. And it is hard. It is hard to forgive things you can't forget. Think about just that phrase in general is very, it tells the full story. Like, they're traumatizing to the fact where you probably still have PTS about them. You still have fears of them. You have fears that you're still in that relationship or in that scenario, or that the next scenario, environment, relationship you'll be in will be something like that. And some relationships you're in, like mentioning the parents again, you only get one mom, one dad. Yeah, you might technically get a step parent, but you get one biological parent. And if that relationship is damaged, or there's some kind of resentment there, that's going to always probably be there, and it's going to be tough to overcome. It's going to be tough to do things without a dad, without a mom, but you're able to, and you have to learn how to use God, use the universe, whatever your belief system is, but you can overcome things. You've already been surviving hard things. You probably survived a lot of things up until this point of you hearing this video, and you will continue to survive. You will continue to conquer. You will continue to win and overcome the obstacles and the things that are there that would destroy the average person, but you're stronger than that. So you have to come to grips. How do you forgive? Google it, figure it out, go to a therapist, figure out, but you have to forgive people who aren't even sorry sometimes. You have to forgive scenarios that you put yourself in when you were a little bit more immature, a little bit more naive to the world, naive to people, and forgive yourself even, because some people will blame themselves for putting themselves in those scenarios or staying in a situation too long. No, you were right where you needed to be. You were there long enough to learn the lesson that you needed to learn. And that's going to, you're going to be able to teach others, and that you're going to know not to go back to certain scenarios. So stop blaming yourself. You were there long enough to learn the lesson that you needed to learn. And now you finally got out of it. Now you're healing. Now you're moving forward, and you're going to make a good life. You're going to make good things happen because you're strong, because your story needed some bumps in the road. Because if somebody writes a book about your life or a movie about your life, and the audience is going to be intrigued, they're going to see some struggle victories. They're going to see some times where you had some storms come into your life. They're going to see some times where you cried yourself to sleep. They're going to see some times where you had disbelief that you could make it another day. But here's the thing. You will make it another day. You will have happy days. You will have days where the sun's shining and everything's coming to fruition, where you do find true love, where you do have a happy family, where you do have relationships that you'll never need to heal from. That stuff will come to you. It's just going to be in due time. It doesn't happen all at once. A lot of people, they want all their life to happen in 1 year and 1 day. No, you live to be 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old for a reason, because you have to experience a full spectrum of life, a full journey of life. It doesn't happen in one season of life. There's different and many seasons of life, many good, bad things that happen, things that bring you joy, things that make you cry, things that make you excited, things that make you nervous. It's just the journey of life. That's what life is. But we have to learn how to embrace each and every chapter, each and every day. We have to learn how to forgive when the time is needed, even if it's forgiving ourselves. Yeah, you probably should have got another relationship, but you didn't. But what'd you learn from it? Yeah, you should have probably left that job earlier, but you didn't. What'd you learn from it? Yeah, you probably should have started a business or charity or a nonprofit on your own, but you didn't. What lessons did you learn from being in the environments that did hurt you and the relationships that did hurt you, in order to be better for tomorrow? Because that's the best thing. You have another tomorrow. You have another day, another crack at it the next day you wake up. We have tomorrows for a reason. So don't beat yourself up too much today. And your past has brought you to today. So everything that's happened in your past was needed. So keep this mindset, keep this in your mind as you go forward. And yeah, I think this was day 129, consistency. And I wish you peace and blessings on your journey.